solid victory going away, but you got to be really proud of the defense and getting those turnovers to make a big difference today.
Yeah, there's no question. Did we end up with 4 picks, I think, in a fourth down stop, they got overturned. Those are the keys to the game, because that, Cal Poly was moving it on us. It wasn't like it was just a free-for-all on offense. So those takeaways, in particular the ones down on their end, were huge, and we were able to do enough things to get build up a 35-0 lead at halftime, and I'm sure we're going to look at the second half and see things we can improve upon. But I think our guys' maturity continues to show in coming out against whoever it is, whenever it is, wherever it is, and playing well.
Guys?
Tommy's touchdown, how excited were you to see his first TD of his career?
Well, Tommy's got that ability, really good play design to get him in that position, and once he got through the first wave, Tommy showed off his speed, and we've said it, I think, every week in some facet that Tommy Lott's one of our better playmakers, and we'll continue to find ways to get him involved. He's running down on kickoff, first guy down there a bunch too. So, really pleased with what Tommy brings to this team, and we'll look for him to do more and more of that.
What do you think? How do you think Tyrell looked today?
Good. I can't say I focused on him a lot. He made a heck of a interception, and it was just good to have his presence back out there. Tyrell's one of our better competitors for sure, and getting him healthy took a little bit longer than we may have hoped, but good to have him back out there making plays.
And a good game for Jeff too. I mean, kind of all over the place. What do you think of him back there in the secondary?
Yeah, I think Jeff's been really steady, and we need our free safety to be able to cover a lot of ground and tackle the football, and Jeff's been able to do both of that. Obviously, big play that stands out is the interception, but Jeff's really going out there every down and providing consistency and playmaking ability. So I'm really pleased with where Jeff is at.
Not a huge stat line for Matt today, but he made some pretty pivotal plays on some third downs. What do you think of his performance today?
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at the tape. They gave us, the opportunity to get the ball to tight ends quite a bit. I want to say a good chunk of his completions were probably that. Made a couple scrambles on some third downs. That's something we probably haven't seen yet to this point, and he certainly has the ability to do it. But I am certain it's another game where there's going to be lessons learned as well. And, again, a game where we didn't turn the ball over. We're 6 games in offensively. I think we've turned over twice. And you're going to win football games when you do that. We've got to continue. We had a couple balls on the ground today, but we got to continue to play that way. And a lot of it just starts with Matt and his ability to protect the football.
His skills really seem to kind of elevate the rest of the offense, and he fits in really well with your guys' scheme. Is that fair to say? What have you seen from that being able to lift the rest of the team?
Well, it's a good observation, because our quarterback needs to be able to be accurate in the throw game, be able to get the ball down the field, and then be a threat in the run game. And Matt certainly, I think, is all of those things. Needs to be able to make good decisions, and those decisions can be made in a lot of forms. Sometimes it's just checking runs. A lot of times it's reading, and then on the third downs, being able to do the things from a protection perspective and decision-making perspective. So Matt's, we're past the midway point now, 6 games in, and we definitely have seen growth, and we really need to play, him to play well for us to accomplish the things that we need to.
What's the next step for him, you think, in his progression with this offense?
Well, the last 5 games, he hasn't really been out there in the fourth quarter needing to make plays, and I'm certain that time is going to come. So when the game's on the line, we got to go all the way back to Wyoming, and he made some plays down the stretch there. So, that's probably the biggest thing that hasn't occurred over the last stretch of the season. But consistency. We're chasing a pretty high standard with him, and we're going to keep working at it with him.
Yeah, now that you're kind of getting into the really meat of your schedule, of your Big Sky schedule, how would you kind of characterize where your team's at right now?
Well, I think we're a pretty unified team, first off. A team that believes in one another, and that's so important. I think we play complementary football pretty dang well as far as our ability to stop the run, to get off the quarterback on defense, and offensively, be able to run the football, but then also be able to have explosiveness on the perimeter. And in special teams wise, I think we continue to do some really good things as well, and it all works together. And I think not only from a player's perspective, but then a coaching staff, I think we understand the makeup of this team, and we'll go back to work tomorrow for a short week here to prepare the guys again to put them in best position. But I think we did what we needed to do. We certainly didn't go down to Laramie thinking we were going to lose that game, but we bounced back and we've won 5 in a row now, and now we got to go back on the road and play a really good Weber State team.
Coach, we talked about earlier in the week this team trying to find a little bit more balance, but still want to throw the ball plenty. Only 18 attempts, 6 completions, ran the ball 47 times. Was that a surprise to you coming
Well,
out?
they flipped the script quarterback-wise right from the start. It was apparent that they're still trying to find themselves. And the difference between the 2 quarterbacks was probably 2 different offenses almost. And I thought our defense, adjusted to that quite well. I don't even know how many plays, 14, if it was just that first series or what it was, and then they wrote 11 for quite, and they're 2 completely different guys, and that was a real challenge going in with this plan. Knew Brosh wasn't going to play, but then how are they going to play otherwise? And I know Freddie talked about that going back to Monday, and it showed up, and I thought, they got some plays on us that we'll have to correct, but by and large we did a pretty good job of adjusting to a pretty significant pivot as far as how they did things.
And you said, with McKay not having really a fourth quarter to make a lot of plays going back to Wyoming, is that how much, I guess, would you say that's a concern just as a team to not have too many close games?
I mean, it is what it is. I think we've been favored in these games, and I think we took care of business. I think the Portland State game was a good game for us to grow. We were down at halftime in that game, so it's not like we just had these second halves all off. But you got to go out and play how if we get up big like that, 35-0 at half, we'll take that every week. But no, and the point to that is it's going to come a point in time where we're in a slugfest, and we got to be able offensively to count on Matt to make plays, but he's got to understand we got a lot of good players too, so it's not just all about him, and I think he gets that. I think at the midpoint here we're relatively healthy. We'll get some guys back this week, I know as well, and whether we suffered any injuries out of this game, I'm not sure, but it didn't seem like there was anything too significant. So pleased with where we're at, our development, our health. We got a short week, like I said, so it's back to work tomorrow.